Hi, I'm Mark Kranenburg. If you're like my producer Josh and you've got a lot of stuff that just needs a home, stay tuned because we're going to show you how $100 and a little bit of sweat can change your life. Right here, Greenmark Builders TV. Today we're going to DIY homemade storage shelves, the simplest and strongest shelves you'll ever see. So here's a few things you're going to need. Skill saw. I like the corded skill saw because you got a little bit more power, better for ripping. I'm using an air nailer, but you can use just hand nails or screws. I like nails better because they've got a stronger shear strength. Eye protection, hearing protection. Safety is number one. Don't skimp on these. Guys, please. Framing square, I like that because it's 2 feet wide. It's easy to mark these 2-foot shelves. You can do it in one shot. Level, just to make sure you're doing your job. And a simple nail belt. Hammer, knife, pencil, and tape measure. And as you can see, I've got my trusty workbench here. My good friend Josh has got some DIY going on here. Josh, go buy yourself a set of sawhorses. Sorry, man. Now it's time to lay out your shelves. The first thing I do is I take the largest container that I'm going to fit underneath it, my backing for my shelves, which is going to be 2x4. I place it on top and I make a mark. Then what I do is I measure from the floor. So we're at pretty close to 22 3/4. So I'm going to add an inch just so we can have a little bit of play. Our backing is going to sit at this level. Then what I do is I measure from the floor. Your floors are pre-leveled. Come down to this mark here. We are at 78 5/16. So what I'm doing is I'm setting my bottom board. I'll nail that board in, and then all my measurements go from there up. This floor above is leveled. The floor underneath here is the concrete, and as accurate as the cement floor is, there's still some human error just from trowels, machines. It's just not quite as accurate, so I always go from the floor above. I'm going to put my first board up. I just mark the center of the stud so I can make a quick, easy cut. This is where our Sharpie comes into play. We're going on 6mm poly, so pencil just doesn't really show up. So going 3 shelves high here, we're gonna go with, our number is about 24 inches. So when we measure 69 inches from the top to the top of this shelf, plus the 1/2 inch, give or take. So if we split it into 24 inches, it's gonna give us about a 20-inch shelf at the top. I always like to put a little bit smaller shelf on the top, because you're not going to put the huge items up there. You put the big stuff underneath. I mark it in a few spots. Next step, cut the rest of the backing. You've got it laid out. As soon as it's cut, whack it up. Here's a little trick. You got to cut 2 boards the exact same length. Mark your boards, flush your ends up. Make sure your skill saw is not going deeper than 2.5, let's say. Make your cut. Here's your first board. Second board. Now what I've just done is I've cut a whole bunch of blocks at 21 inches. 21 is the inside measurement when you add on the 1.5 and 1.5, giving you 24. So what we're doing is we're ripping a sheet of plywood in half, so we're getting maximum use out of our material. So I've laid them all out. What we're doing now is we're gonna put blocking in here. What's gonna happen here when we put this blocking in, we're gonna run our piece across here, which is the outside face of this one, and then we're gonna butt in with the next one. And I'll put another block on the inside when we go to do that one. So, follow along. Now I'm going to put my front piece of support on. Because I got nail guns and I'm a trained professional, it's easy for me, one man. But if you got the opportunity, use another guy. It's way easier, cuts your time in half. So this length here is 8 feet. What I've done here is I've put another 21-inch backer, so then I can put my 10-footer across here that goes all the way to the end. Also what it does is it acts as a support, so when I put my sheet on, full 8-foot sheet here, my next 8-foot starts, we've got full support. So we got nailing and you're not gonna have a sag in your sheet. The next piece is the 10-footer that's going in. Even though you've ordered a 10-foot board, you always have to double check the length. 10-footers are not what's known as dimensional lumber. Dimensional lumber is lumber that comes exactly the length that you order it. So you always have to check. These ones here, exactly 10 feet. So we lucked out on this one, 10 and 10. So nail away. Line up with our mark. Get your fingers out of the way. Now our main frame for our shelves is all up. We're gonna go outside, rip our lengths of OSB, and then bring them downstairs. The reason I'm cutting this oriented strand board outside is because, one, to avoid dust in the house, and two, because you don't want to ding all your walls up going down the stairs. It's a lot easier carrying a 2-foot sheet than it is trying to balance a 4-foot sheet. If you try to mark oriented strand board with a pencil, you'll find it kind of gets lost unless you really scribe hard, and you're going to be sharpening your pencil all the time. So try to grab a marker that's got a half decent point on it. Don't forget your eye protection and your ear protection. Let's do this. I'm sure all you guys are used to using a skill saw. What I do is I take and I back my skill saw down, so I've only got about an inch and a quarter of blade showing. Lock it down, so then when I'm running along my 2x4 there, that way I don't hit anything that's below the sheet. So let's see how we did. I always take the factory edge and put it to the outside because it's your straightest edge and it always looks good. Even though these are just rough shelves, you want to do the best job you can. Put it in with a few tacks because we haven't got our supports in yet. I always like to put it in before you've got all the boards and everything in your way, all those supports going straight down. Lots of room, easy to work. I switched to a little shorter nail just in case I miss, so there's not any sharp edges sticking out. Tack, tack, tack. Now you can see where this cleating went in here. So now you got good support here and good support here. Because these sheets are 8 and we needed 10, what I do is I just take some scrap blocking that's left over, put it under halfway, tack that in place. You got good backing for your other pieces. So our supports, what I do is I level the top shelf so it's perfectly flush or perfectly level. Make a mark. That mark there. Make that cut, then you can put anything you want up there and you got nothing blocking your way. So it's perfectly level. Sweet. Now that we're leveled and well supported, we're just going to go around, tack our entire shelves off, clean up a mess, and we're done. After a couple hours of nailing, leveling, a little bit of cutting, and a $100 bill, look what we get. Nice clean area, shelving, and room to spare. Josh, you're welcome. That's it for our DIY storage shelving episode. You got yourself a $100 bill, and you can have yourself these sweet shelves. I'm Mark from Greenmark Builders TV. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, and we'll see you next time.